The Gran Turismo 7 Update 1.40, or as Polyphony Digital called it, Gran Turismo 7 Spec 2, came to be for the public on the last Thursday, November 2nd, and it was massive. So many things changed, so many new features, and don't get me wrong, those are really nice stuff. Many of the average GT7 players will love it. Yet, for a big part of the public, including myself, this update was basically useless, irrelevant. I'll tell you why for me and for many people this huge update was a big disappointment and a wasted opportunity. So follow me and let's understand it. Weapons clear. Salute and welcome to the Fighter Driver channel. I'm Gabriel Oliveira, the Fighter Driver, and today I'll bring you all my perspective over the Gran Turismo 7 Update 1.40. I won't be showing you all most of the features on screen as there are many people on YouTube already doing that. I'll focus on the relevance each one of them bring to the users. And that's it because most of them, if any, have no relevance to the competitive sport mode, and as I'm fully focused in this aspect of the game, basically nothing from this huge update will be used for me or for the drivers also focused in the sport mode. See, first we have the new cinematic introduction. Well, that's beautiful, awesome, but just aesthetics. It doesn't change anything in terms of gameplay, so why wasting so much time and resources doing something that won't change anything to the user's experience? That time and those resources could have been used to something that would make some real differences for the players. Then they bring 7 new cars, being them the Dodge Charger RT46 Hemi 68, Dodge Challenger SRT Nano 2018, the Lexus LFA 2010, the Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.516 Evolution 2 from 1991, the Nismo 400R 95, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the 992 version from 2022, and finally the Tesla Model 3 Performance from 2023. All of them street civilian cars. And okay, they're very nice, many people will love them, but really? Where's the Mustang GT3 2024, the Ferrari 296 GT3, the Huracan GT3 Evo 2, the AMR Vantage GT3, the BMW M4 GT3? I mean, the Mustang GT3 we have in game is invented, not really based on any homologated version of it, as far as I could find when researching it. The Ferrari 458 Italia is from 2013, 10 years outdated. The AMR is even worse, even older, and so many other racing cars in the different categories which are outdated. Come on, the Mustang is about to premiere next year in so many GT3 championships around the world, some of them the most important ones as the MASA and the WEC. What a waste of opportunity. I mean, the cars brought are nice, yeah, sure. But they are street cars, they add nothing to the sport mode and the official competitions. So we'll continue racing events like the Manufacturers Cup with outdated cars or invented cars. Yeah, because the VGT cars are, when much, concept cars. None of them materialize and were put to real life test or on the tracks as far as I know. And this is a problem as Gran Turismo keeps mixing cars from different categories to compose the grids. For example, the Super GT 500 1987. This car should never be in Group 3, as this group tries to emulate the GT3 series. I believe they use this Group 3 name because of licensing issues. But this Supra aimed GT3 car was never meant to be one or race against one as far as I know. Anyways, I won't touch those new cars, totally irrelevant to me. Now, if it's your first time here on the Fighter Driver channel and you found this content interesting and useful, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell button so you can follow us and be notified every time there's a new video or content here in the channel. You can also hit the like button, leave us a comment telling us what you think about our job here, and finally share this content with your friends if you think they'll like it. Fast and easy, you accomplish this mission and help us a lot by doing so. We appreciate all your support. Next, we have 3 new cafe menus. Well, for those of you who already follow us and watched the first videos of the Mission Gran Turismo, you know I went through the cafe menus only because I needed to do so. Because that way I could unlock the sport mode, something you can achieve by finishing the menu number 9 and then I kept on until menu 38 so I could unlock all the tracks, something useful for creating private lobbies you can use for training or racing private league championships. But I stopped in there. Not even the menu 39 did I race, as it's a waste of time if you're focused in the competitive mode. So it's something a big part of the players will never touch, including me. By the way, if you haven't watched the previous episodes of the Mission Gran Turismo, I'll leave the card for the full playlist here on the top right corner and on this video's description. So when you finish this video, you can watch our full journey from creating the account to our current status. And be aware, because we're preparing for the final round of the Manufacturers Cup, and there will be a video about it here. And if Air Combat Sim is your thing, don't forget to check the Mission War Thunder playlist later. Card also here on the top right corner and in this video's description. The new events and weekly challenges added to the World Circuit section are also irrelevant to the sport mode, so I won't even waste time talking about it here. What to say about the new Master License? I've stopped in the National License A and only went through it because it was necessary to unlock the competitive modes. Those licenses are pretty irrelevant for those focused in the competitive mode too. One might say, but they teach you techniques that will be relevant when racing competitively, and I say no, they don't. They would if they were based on real events and categories, but inside the same license you have street cars, turismo cars, prototype cars, and the techniques used in one are not necessarily applied in the other cars, so they are unrealistic not only compared to the real life, but also to the competitions inside the game. For those licenses to be relevant in terms of competitive racing, they might have to be completely reformulated, in my humble opinion. The padlocks in the meeting places. I've never accessed this feature and probably never will. The same thing can be said about the split screen stuff. The new race photo mode features might be useful when taking pictures for the video covers or making content for our social media profiles on Instagram and TikTok and so on, but the ones already existed were good enough. When it comes to the Polyphony Digital Tokyo office in the Escapes mode, I would trade it for Interlagos or some other real tracks we don't have yet, simple as that. The new dashboard just statics and doesn't cover the information about the sport mode, so it's totally irrelevant from this perspective. On the replay mode, we have the new looping function. Wow, that's nice, but not so useful after all. Much better would be to have the slow motion feature as we used to have in Gran Turismo Sport, or a function to show the rear camera without the need to keep the L1 button constantly pressed. I know the headache it is to record the replays for the videos showing the rear camera. If you want to record the entire race from this perspective, for example, you have to keep the button pressed the entire process. Fixing it would be so more useful. Say the same about the slow motion feed. Well, the only thing different regarding the sport mode is that when you finish your race and before you leave the lobby, you can see how much your SR and DR changed. But is it that relevant the way it is done? There are so many other things which would be so nicer and more relevant. For example, the addition of a daily race D with longer races and without those ridiculous tire wear and fuel consumption multipliers. I really don't like those short races as we have for daily races today, and okay, some people will say, but most of the people don't have time to race longer races, endurance races, and that's okay. So keep the dailies as they are today, just add one more for people who are interested in longer, more realistic races with real tire wear and fuel consumption, with open setup, limiting the performance by using the performance points instead of the crazy broken BOP we have today. Give us the option to choose, or then bring us official events as the Manufacturers Cup or something similar to it with more realistic characteristics and longer during the year, or then just abandon the idea of being a simulator and leave it to the titles which try this more realistic approach as Assetto Corsa Competizione, iRacing, etc., and assume Gran Turismo is an arcade game. I'm a Gran Turismo fan, played the franchise since the first version of PlayStation 1 in 1987, jumping only versions 5 and 6 for PlayStation 3 as I didn't have this console. I started playing Gran Turismo again with the sport version exactly because of the online competitive thing. But for a game which hosts the Olympic Virtual Series, it seems pretty poor in this aspect with very few changes in its format since it started. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't change from Gran Turismo to iRacing or Assetto Corsa Competizione yet, for I can't afford new hardware right now, don't have a steering wheel to help me being more competitive and so on. The investment is just too much for me right now, but I really would like to change and get more serious into sim racing. And if you disagree from me in parts or in everything I said, I'd love to know your opinion, so leave me a comment telling me what you think. Just be nice and respectful as I will be with y'all, so we can develop a constructive discussion about the topic. That's it for today, guys. I hope you liked it, and if you did so, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends who like Gran Turismo 7 and sim racing in general. Also consider subscribing to the channel with the notifications bell activated so you will receive the notifications every time there is a new video here on the channel. I appreciate you who followed me so far, salute, and I see you on the next mission.